Bob, your question will go to Sandra Remaker.
Sandra? You're right.
Sandra, how should the RDA's money be used, and do you believe the city is following guidelines for properly using RDA funds?
I have a couple of thoughts on that. In fact, I was reading just today some more about the RDA funds and came to a little more confusion that the fact that the RDA funds are actually controlled by city council, which wasn't the way I had read it to be originally. RDA funds are great for the properties that are RDA, that took the advantage of being RDA. There's an application that you can apply to get these funds that are a matching type fund. And I would like to see more people who are part of the RDA get involved and use some of that money to improve some of the things that you have.
All right, then, Ken, do you have Rich Green? Ken, you have Rich Green to talk to?
You're on, man.
Ask a question.
Richard, what role do you see for the city council in dealing with the Overton Power District? Would you consider a city-owned electric utility? And what role do you see for renewable energy in Mesquite's future?
Okay, thanks, Ken. Right now, the city has limited, how about that, is that better? Right now, the city seems to have limited control over OPD. We know that several of those seats are going to come up for election next time. And we also know that many of those people ran for those positions without any opposition. So it's important to get change at OPD is to change some of the players. And that's the opportunity is right around the corner to do that. Oftentimes, there's several of us that go to the board meetings at OPD and we express ourselves as to certain things, but we really have no power. And the power is going to be in the people that are on the board and in how they act. So I think that's the city should urge the citizens to get involved in selecting people for that OPD board who not only know the utility industry to a certain extent, but also are people that they think will take actions that are beneficial for the ratepayers. And the other question, Kent, asked whether we should take a look at an alternate power source. That would be quite an expensive undertaking because we probably have to buy all those substations and the transmission and distribution lines that they have. So I'd rather see us work within the framework of the Overton Power District as it stands now and just seek change to changing the key people. And as to the renewable energy, I think the solar energy is so expensive that I couldn't at this point be an easy proponent of that.
Thank you.
Barbara, you have Sandra Remaker.
Sandra, this goes to an earlier question that was asked of Cindy. And two other candidates have come under fire for campaign contributions. How do you respond to the criticism that you received the largest cash campaign contribution to date from a corporation for which you voted favorably on their water share rates?
When it comes to campaign funding, the donations that we receive, fortunately, I received one large one in cash. I think people who receive in-kind donations that happen to be with advertising is just as expensive, if not more so. And that's the chose of how they spend their money or how they get their ads, and people that are willing to give them those ads. I know that Gino as well got a large donation from Wolf Creek, and I don't see a problem with that. I think people who want to support you will support you, and however they find that they can support you best is the best way to use it. I don't find my funding coming from Wolf Creek a problem because of the fact when we did the water shares for them, that was locked in more than a year and a half ago. In fact, it was June of 2011, and at that time I wasn't even thinking about running for city council. So I don't believe that there's a conflict of interest there.
Thank you. Bob, you have a question for Cindy Delaney?
Cindy, what would you do to help protect residents in the flood-prone southeast part of Mesquite? They're so vulnerable to river flooding, and they've been waiting for some kind of flood control improvements.
I think that we really have to look at what our current regulations are and to step up those things. I think that there's some things that we need to do to maybe keep people from building in the flood regions. I have a real issue with when you know something's gonna flood and people build there anyway. It's kind of like I'm from the south and we used to constantly build, people would build on the Mississippi Delta and then complain whenever they got washed out about every 10 years. Or in Galveston where the hurricanes come and knock the houses down. To me, it would be simple enough to, maybe as a city, we should restrict that land or either make the builders build the land up. There's a lot of stuff we have to look at on that one. And I'd actually have to do a lot more investigation to give you a better answer.
Kent, you have a question for Gino Whithelder?
Gina, that's the only incumbent remaining in the race. You're the only one with an actual record for us to look at. What have you actually accomplished? What makes you stand out as a councilman? And why do you deserve another term?
Yeah, just put your mic up a little closer.
I'll repeat my question. As the only incumbent remaining in the race, you're the only one with an actual record. What have you actually accomplished as a councilman? What makes you stand out as a councilman? And why do you deserve another term?
Well, I didn't know I had a record, first of all. I think I've served pretty diligently for the last 4 years. I certainly have given it my best. As you know, I am a pretty large contributor to the community in time and effort with kids and various charities and whatever. I certainly take my job to heart. I study the issues. I think I work well with the other council persons and the mayor. I've got pretty good rapport with staff, and I believe I've been pretty well generally accepted within City Hall. I don't think I've made too many people outside of the community too mad at me, although I can't make everybody happy, obviously, but I certainly will be there again, and I will give it my best and do whatever I can in my ultimate power to do what I've been sworn in to do. So that's my answer. Thank you.
Thank you.
Barbara, you have Richard Green?
Rich, you said many times during the campaign and in an initial interview that you did back in February with the Mesquite Citizen Journal that you want to maximize the city's resources in consideration of the budget. The two main resources for the city are taxes and fees. How do you propose to maximize them? And please be specific.
Well, I'm actually looking at resources. I'm looking at the cash and the land from the asset standpoint rather than from the income standpoint. So I'm looking at to make sure that we're getting the maximum bang for our buck, if you will, out of any expenditures that we make. And I'm also looking to see that we maximize the use of our land, not only in terms of possible land sales, but even possibly using land as a means to give an incentive to new businesses to come here. So I look forward to being an active participant in the budget hearings and to use my accounting and finance expertise to look at every line item in the budget as it goes along, to the extent that a member of the public will have access to that and I believe they'll start in the middle of next month.
Karen, can I ask a follow-up question?
Yes, you're within the still in time.
Okay. Then are you saying that you are or are not in favor of raising or increasing taxes and fees? You are or are not?
In terms of fees, no, I don't think we necessarily need to increase our fees. In fact, I want to make sure our fees are as user-friendly as they possibly can be. And I would even go so far as to, if necessary, to give some incentives in our fee structure to make sure that we're business-friendly to new businesses.